Good evening. Welcome to Options Tenor. It is Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. We're doing this video a little bit later tonight. During the day today, I had messaged out there on YouTube that we're still looking for the same thing as yesterday. And I decided to make a video because we got into our setup that we're looking for. So we have some targets that we'll look at on SPY and QQQ. I'll go really quick through the multiple time frames and spend most of our time on the 65. If you want to check out how I got to this point, check out yesterday's video. It'll be a little bit more in depth on the higher time frames than the lower. All right, so we're doing this here in the evening. Usually we do this intraday, so if you're a supporter, you would get this video intraday, and then the video comes out at 4 p.m., but there was no information. I wasn't going to do a video at all. And we got the setup. It's a fabulous setup. So if you're restrained in time, put your record playback up to 1.25 or 1.5 or so, and watch this video a little bit faster. A lot of good information, so I'd rather you get it fast and rather than skip through. Okay, so here we are. Let's get into it. We have SPY in the monthly time frame. We have 2000 top, 2021 top. We're forming a top here. I do believe this is going to be a little bit more complex of a top. We're at the 8 EMA, so that's where we're pausing here. We're also at this consolidation area, so we're pushing up off of it so far. We'll see if we can get up to a double top or possibly even eke out a new high. I'm looking for SPY to eke out a new high and QQQ to have a lower high. Let's go over to the weekly time frame. Again, super fast. I do this over and over in the rest of the video, so if you want to check these out. So we're looking at right now an inverted candle. It's a possible reversal candle on the weekly time frame. So going into Thursday and Friday, we'll see where this ends off. But so far, it's a reversal type candle. Underneath the 21 moving average, that's bearish, and we're rejecting off it so far. Okay, so as we get to the lower time frames, we're going to notice that we might be changing or shifting into bullish mode here. I am already, but we're now starting to form some sort of market structure for price to go higher. So on the daily time frame, we held this nice support here, rejected, but then got over, rejected again. So really we're in a volatile state. So the VIX is at 27. Moves are large. It's a trader's paradise, and we can consider on the daily time frame 524, about 524 being a key level because we have not closed over it in 3 days. So this one rejected and closed underneath, and this one all the way up to test the 8 EMA and the 100, and again rejected off of there. Now I believe that we're setting up a higher low here, and then we'll continue on. So I'm going to give you some targets to the upside and what it'll look like if the opposite happens, but that's a less probable situation now. So going into the time reference, we're looking at 8-9 possibly being a very interesting time and price relationship. So that's something we're going to look at going into Friday. We might have a good day Friday, but tomorrow is a possible catalyst as well, going with the jobs numbers early, employment numbers. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I'm not going to edit that out. So what we're doing right now, I think, is we're oscillating around this 23.6%. Where did I get this? This is, again, really fast. This is market structure down here. This is a possible 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, a 3 all the way up here and going into 4 with this 23% retracement from the bottom of wave 2. So this is still a good area where this could be considered a wave 4. If we break down lower than this, all the way down to the 382 is the possibility of this move being I don't think that's going to be, but we're oscillating around this, setting up a structure, and we'll see where this goes into tomorrow. And let's go ahead and jump to the 65, and I'll slow down just a bit here. So now that you know what we're looking at, here's the possible scenario. I drew out this possible channel. In the scenarios that I'm looking at in this lower time frame, the primary is in turquoise. We went up a little further than my arrow. It doesn't really matter. We're getting the structure that we're looking at. And down past here, going down to the bottom of the channel would be our secondary scenario. I think we're going to hold a higher low. We're at a 1-2 setup right now. And I'll show you what that means in the next board. And I'm looking for our next move to be up here and testing the top of the channel. That could happen sooner than later, going Thursday, Friday, possibly even into Monday to do so. But moves are so big and violent that I've had to kind of gear my time frames a lot less, I should say. So each day we're moving, again, 150 points or 15 points today. And so what we're looking at structure-wise is, although these overlapped, I'm looking at this being a leading diagonal. So some people are saying this is a bear flag. That's possible. If we get a new low, that would be confirmed. I think this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leading diagonal, and we're getting our wave 2 here. And it's going to look a little bit different. I'm going to show you the futures, and this kind of a lot of times when I compare the two, they're counted differently, but they confirm the same thing. So going over quickly to the ES, the futures for the market, here's what we're looking at structure-wise here. Let me load up here for a second. So almost the same kind of thing. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but this would be our top here. And now we're getting expanded flat for an A, B, and C. If you notice, that is a 5-wave move there. So that's this is looking at, or excuse me, 3-wave move here, and this is a 5-wave move down here. So it's looking like an impulse wave, but what's going to happen here is it's the end of the move, and then we go into a wave C or 2. So this is going to be a very strong wave, and so we have to be careful of that setup going into tomorrow, not to get out of our trades too early. It's going to be a very big move, and I do think it's going to test the top of the channel, if not even higher. But I wouldn't trade with that large of a move. I wouldn't go without any put protection up into that area. So let's flip over to the other board with the Fibonacci's and the Elliott waves. Our secondary scenario was that this is possibly a 5-wave move down, and then we're retracing into the 61, which would bring us right into the channel. So this is going to play out either way. It's looking to play out whether you're bearish and you think this can be a lower high and we go lower, or if you're bullish like I am and I think that this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4. The 3 might be higher. These are not projections. The 3 could be into the 786, or it could be even higher. 4 and 5 up here to get a brand new all-time high, just eking out here. It doesn't have to, but this is what I'm looking for. Otherwise, the secondary scenario would be we get new lows, and it would be pretty vicious too. So in the near term, we got our move up here. I'm going to erase that. We got our move down. We're setting up. Move this out of the way, and I think that will be the case. So we're setting up here. This move, the 62% retracement, we're on it. We tagged it at the close. That's why I'm doing this video. We also tagged it on the futures after hours. Okay, so this is our setup. It's a 1-2 setup, meaning this is a 1, 2, and what we're looking for is a C. And by the way, my 5-wave move up here is going to look corrective. It's going to look sloppy if this is the case. So either way, it's going to look corrective because I'm looking for this to be an ending diagonal. We're losing momentum, and I think we're going to eke out a new high and then fail. So what we're looking at in an ending diagonal is for all of the waves to be zigzags. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move. We're getting our 5 wave, 3 wave move down, and then we'll look for an impulse 5 wave move up. Probably get rejected off of the channel. Even if it goes higher, we're going to get some sort of pullback, and I think that pullback will be pretty violent and suck in all the bears, and then once again hold a certain level and move back up. So previously, we talked about a video of the ending diagonal going for 2021, and this wave 1 was just massive, and I think it may have already been up to the 786, pulled back to test the lows. And then a massive wave 3 all the way up to the 88.7. And this is where it converged. We had the NASDAQ getting lower highs at that point, making an overall lower high. And we had the S&P kind of eke out a brand new high and then failed. So I'm looking for something very similar because this is a very important high here. And I just think the end of the momentum is going to be here. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to play safely. I'll play all of these swings. I think they're going to be very large. And with the volume elevated, the VIX, the volatility being elevated, these swings aren't going to get much shorter, maybe to where the VIX gets crushed, the moves start getting smaller way up here, and the VIX should be at its lows at that point. Okay, so here's our 1-2 setup. We're looking at, even if it comes down to the 786, no big deal, it's the same thing, but we're looking at a clean move down to the 62% retracement, and now we need to get our targets. This is the most important part here. So we're very comfortable with holding on to our trades. All right, so you take the bottom of wave 1 to the top there, or wave A, I should say, to the bottom of wave B. If that goes lower or gaps down, then I'll have to adjust that. But for now, down here, and now we have our projection. And what we're looking for is typical C. Doesn't always end at 1. In this scenario, we're going to be looking for the 1.62 extension. And so that takes up to the 786. So like I said, this could go further. This could go all the way up here. It doesn't have to. Into one of these time relationships, we have a lot of stuff going on here. I took off. There was a huge cluster and I couldn't see anything. And so I took off all of the ones from 7-8. And so I'm looking at, 8-7 was today. And so I took off those. Going into tomorrow, we might get a low or into 8-9, a low, because that would coincide with the daily time frame. So these, like I said, these moves are fast. So maybe this huge move going into, maybe we get a high with Friday. I don't know. But usually if Friday is bullish, then Monday has a tendency to follow that. So we're looking into the target of the 162. And I don't know the time frames. We'll look for those clusters on the daily time frame to coincide. But something I believe is happening on 8-9. And we'll see if we get a low here going into tomorrow. Now, in the Qs, it's exactly just like this. Again, it doesn't have to come down here. I wasn't projecting where that went. That could be our low. Could go a little bit further, but this is just the direction, how it might have looked. All right, so this, I think, tomorrow should clearly, or going into Friday, should clearly, and probably a lot steeper, break out from this channel. So we'll have a breakout in the Qs, and I think going into SPY, I think those, it'll take a little bit longer to break out because the channel is much larger. Going into the other board, here's what we have. This is what we were projecting. We already did the up move. and now the down move. And if we want to be precise, maybe we go a little bit lower into tomorrow. Actually, I'll just take that one off, and we'll look something more like this. Maybe gap down to 62. It could just gap up from here. We're in the zone already. And then, so where do we think this is going? Same thing. Pull out the extension tool. Top of wave A, down to the bottom of B. And we're looking at about the 475. If price gets down, it's a little bit lower to the 62. We'll adjust it tomorrow. We'll see. It might gap up tomorrow. I don't know. All right. So we're looking at the 162 extension into this zone right here, which would bring us right into that 62% retracement, while SPY would be into the 78% retracement. And this could continue to go. That's just our target, but we're going to get some sort of reaction here at the 62 again, because what would be looked at is this is an impulse. Okay, we're going to get a lower high here, and we have our 5-wave move here. And this is, I'm more sure of this one than I am of SPY. We're going to get a lower high, but what I think is going to happen is we're going to reject off of maybe this target here, could go further, off of this target here, again, take a deep dive, because this is technically a 1-2 setup, okay? And this should be a pretty fierce move to the downside if that were game over and that was the truth. But I think we're going to get this as being an A. It's going to mimic what the SPY is doing. SPY, this will be a 1. This will be a B, testing some major lows here because of how much selling pressure is going to be on this move. And then we get our C going into a deeper retracement, either the 786 or even possibly the 887. So this is going to be a large move. That's going to be wave 3 with SPY. So that's what that's going to mimic, and then perhaps starts failing, getting lower highs and lower lows while SPY ekes out a new high. Okay, so this is kind of what we're projecting, not time frame wise. It's just, this is what I think it's going to look like. Now, the secondary scenario is that we break lows, and that if that happens, this you should say sayonara. This if we're heading much lower at that point. And then if that happens, I'll put these projections from wave 1 into wave 2, and then the target, which would be, again, extremely lower. All right, that's really all I want to show you. We have the VIX. And VIX had its bounce today, going into the close there. Nice sharp move, but I think this is going to start failing much lower. So that's what I got for you guys today. Hope this helps. Don't forget to like the video, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.